Hello guys, welcome to today's video. My name is Tochi. You guys are welcome. So today's video is very important. Like, you guys, you need to watch this video because it's packed. I have a guest here who is a politician in the UK. She's from Nigeria, by the way, so I'm so proud. See how I'm smiling. So yeah, she's a politician in the UK. She has lots of businesses. She's doing so well. And despite the fact that she has kids with special needs, she was able to achieve all these things in the UK. And that is why when I heard her story, I said I must bring her here. She has written all this in a book anyway, and I've reviewed that book here on this channel. I'm going to leave that video in the description of this one, so please do well to see it and purchase the book if you haven't, because guys, the book is a must read. So she's going to introduce herself right now and then we'll get started.
Thank you, Tochi. It's great to be here. I've been looking forward to this discussion. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm a counselor. About myself, I actually wear so many hats. So where do I start? So I'm an elected Labour councillor for Power Ward in St. Helens. So the first councillor of African descent. So that means that in my town, nobody from an African or Nigerian background has ever been elected into a public office, whether local or also parliamentary as well. So this was actually quite monumental in the history of the town to have an immigrant elected into a public office. In addition to my work as a politician, I also run businesses. In fact, my full-time work is actually in business. So I'm a counselor part-time, so I run my businesses full-time, and I'm also a speaker, author, and a coach as well. I'm involved in a lot of charitable work as well. I run 2 support groups for families in the UK and beyond. So there's the first group for families who have children with special needs like mine, as the Joy and Joe Special Needs Parenting Community, and also an entrepreneurial community, empowerment community for parents who are looking to start their businesses. And the most recent is a business club for women. These are some of the initiatives that I would have loved to see, and I decided to make it happen for others. Thank you.
Yes, welcome so much, Bisi. We're glad to have you here. Like, I'm so happy to be here with you, because your story is one that is very inspiring, and I know that, listening to you, I know that I can really be anything I want to be in the UK. So I want other people to get to know about this and know that yes, everything is possible. No matter what you're going through, you can be anything and do anything wherever you find yourself, right? So let's start from the very beginning. Before we go into, your UK politics and your journey into politics, opening businesses, let's start from the beginning. When you moved to the UK, how, your family life, your early years in the UK, because there are a lot of people who are just moving into the UK and they're like, okay, what's next for me? So let's start from that point. When you moved into the UK, what was it like for you?
Thank you, Tochi. That's a lovely question. So I moved into the UK as a student. I was awarded a scholarship. That's the DFID stroke, also known as a Commonwealth Scholarship, and that was approximately 20 years ago. So I came to the UK to study. Plus, my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband, was living in the UK. So it was some sort of reunion because we've been in a long distance relationship. So I got into my academics straight away, my master's degree, but I also got married as well here in the UK. Shortly after I arrived in the UK, because now Nigerians were not allowed to cohabit unless we marry. So we sort of had to do it very quickly. We had to get married quickly. So very young, in love. And yeah, that was the reason why I sort of had to document my journey, because it's been a mixture of ups and downs. And I just never saw like the sort of support you have from initiatives like what Tochi is doing right now. She's done all the research and trying to sensitize people. In those days, you basically don't have anybody to look up to. There is nobody sharing information as to how to survive in the UK. So it was really, really tough for me as a student in the UK, and also as a young mom with 2 children, under 5 at the time, 2 children with very significant special needs or disability. It was really tough.
Now that you mentioned, what was it like handling two kids with special needs all by yourself, or just you and your husband in the UK without any help or family member? What was it like, that phase? What was it like for you?
Thank you, Tochi. It was very isolating, and this is the reason why it's important for us to tell our stories, because we don't really get to hear from families like ours who've had to overcome these obstacles. Many families in the UK who are immigrants, who have a child with special needs, they are lost in the system. Nobody knows how they're surviving because the support isn't really there. Because you're not a British citizen, you're not entitled to a lot of the support or respite care that families who already have papers have. So as a student, you know that you are limited in terms of the number of hours you can work. And having my daughter straight away after in fact, I had her immediately after I graduated, so I couldn't work. And it was more like everything I planned in my head to do just turned upside down. I couldn't do anything because in the UK, even if your child doesn't have a special needs, you have to be present. You have to be present. You can't just leave your child and say you want to face your career. So right from the hospital, when I had my daughter, I knew that I had to start to change my whole thinking. The Nigerian mindset where you straight away just get a minder to look after your child. I had to start thinking out of the box. So it's hard to imagine that my business idea started from the hospital. I was there with my daughter very poorly. She was unwell because immediately she was born, she had breathing problems. And then I started thinking, gosh, how am I going to cope? I had lost my mom 2 months approximately before I had my daughter. The plan was that my mom would come. You know how they do this omugo thing where your mothers will come and help you. So even in my bed plan, my mother was supposed to come and help me with my daughter. And my mom passed away. So everything is like sometimes in life when you have everything planned out. So it's important for people to realize that the UK, it is a land of opportunity, but sometimes things don't go according to plan. You have to be able to think out of the box, and you have to be able to dance in the rain and not wait for the rain to stop. And that was really what happened. I had to think at the time as to, okay, I have a certificate now, a master's degree, a UK master's degree, a BSc from Nigeria, but I cannot use it by choice because I wanted to be present. I wanted to nurture my children myself. So I started to think, what are the other skills I have outside this qualification in paper? Then I started to think about the fact that, okay, I'm very loving, caring, and nurturing. Maybe I should start a child minding business because that way I can look after my daughter and after other people's children and I can earn something. I didn't want to agree that I would just be a stay-at-home mom without doing anything. With all due respect to stay-at-home moms, I always say that caring for children is a job in itself. But I'm saying from my own background, I grew up among women who worked. My mother worked. So I didn't think it was okay for me to sit at home, caring for my children, not do anything. So whilst my husband was also working, was also on his PhD, I decided to start a business at home. So I registered with Ofsted and I did all the trainings. In the evenings after childminding, I realized that I learned how to sew during my NYSC. And so I started buying fabrics on eBay and making things. Instead of selling it, because I had little humans depending on me. And in this case, my house was like a hospital as well because I had my daughter who had very significant needs. We had hospital appointments and all that. So it wasn't possible for anybody to employ me. And this is the reason why, in a way, I'm grateful to my daughter because the path that my life has taken, I wouldn't have gone this path if I wasn't faced with the challenges that I faced. Thank you, Toby.
Now, talking about businesses as well. So how many businesses do you have so far in the UK?
Thank you for the question. I have multiple businesses actually.
Ooh,
And
I like the sound
how
of
do
that.
I count? Do I count them? So first, I run a manufacturing business where called Joy and Joe Baby Sling. Right now, we are the best-selling baby sling in the UK. I started making the product and I saw the feedback, and it was amazing because I was mainly inspired by how we multitask. Women will carry their babies on their backs and they will have stuff on their heads. Those are some of the most amazing things about my brand. In fact, that my story is linked to my brand, and I'm grateful that this is the reason why many families across the UK and Europe can relate to my brand because my products help me. I wanted to be hands free, and I created something for parents, and this business has changed my life. And this is the reason why, obviously, it's named after my children. It's giving my husband and I a chance to be able to improve our quality of life. It's giving us a chance to be able to branch out into other businesses. I never thought one day I'll be an employer of labor, but this business has given us a chance to be able to also contribute to our community by employing other people. So during the lockdown was when we experienced the highest, I would say that it was like a boom. I think people were having babies clearly because I was in for a surprise. But the demand was so high that by the end of the lockdown, the business basically went from like a 5 to 6 figures. It was really doing really well. So we then had, I would say it was a good challenge, and we had some funds to invest in another business. So we started to look into properties and all that. One way or the other, we decided to buy a premises that is local to us. It's not too far away from where I live. But the previous owners of the post office, this Asian family, they were looking to move out of town, and they advertised on Rightmove. And I have to mention Rightmove because there is, and I don't know if it's this Nigerian thing, but a few people have asked me, did you have some connections? Was there any connection? What in the UK connections? When you have your Google there, you have your phone and Google. I was playing around Rightmove, which I usually do from time to time. Being homeowners, I always just check around and see what's happened to the property market, to the rental market, and I actually found this property. When you see a photo of a building that is not far away from you, I was like, what? This building is up for sale. And I called my husband. It was like a joke, and he took it really seriously and said, let's buy it. Let's put in an offer. And we just took it, and that was how we started doing these businesses together. Property business was almost accidental because we would enjoy doing renovations. The only difference with these retail businesses is that it came with a post office and a convenience shop, groceries, and we also have some flats upstairs as well. And that really is our three businesses: the baby wrap business, the property business, and the retail business. So the retail business manages the grocery side of things, which is the post office as well.
Wow, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm just speechless. This is good. This
Thank
is
you.
really good.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's talk about politics because I know some people have been waiting to hear. How were you able to go into the UK politics?
Fantastic question. I went into politics because I felt that I had something to offer, something different to offer actually. Because on the day we had our citizenship ceremony in this town, so I don't know if in your town or your city where you live, every town or city has like a town hall or a city hall. So you get invited by the mayor of the town, and you have to walk through these corridors, to where you're going to be received. You have your citizenship ceremony presented, done. So I was walking through the corridors, and then the photos of all the previous mayors of the town, they lined beautifully. They were used to decorate the corridors, and I noticed that they were all white. So I'm the sort of person that sometimes when I say something, I'm sowing a seed. And I just said to my husband on that day, because he had the ceremony first prior to mine, I said, this town is not diverse at all. I think I'm going to be the first black mayor. So I just said it. And my husband said, yes, you should. You should go into politics. And prior to that, when I was doing a Saturday market business, because the time we have on this show will not be enough for me to go into how many businesses I dabbled into. And that's one thing about business. Sometimes you have to try your hands with so many things. You have to fail so many times. So one business that I failed in was a Saturday market business. There's a car boutique where you take your car to a car park. There's so many people there selling secondhand products. And I had these handbags that I bought and I wanted to resell. The reason why I called it a failure was basically I can sell 18 pounds in a whole day, and you have to pay for the space. And they will come around and collect like 12, 13 pounds. And I will go home with like 5 pounds. And I will feel so cool. Like, yes, I've made money. That was clearly a waste of my time. But do you know what? The experience helped me because I started to build confidence in negotiation, in talking to people, in integration. In the whole of the market, there was no black seller. Like all the people that were in the car boutique, these car boutiques, they were all British people. So it gave me a chance to interact with people, to pick up some skills that I possibly didn't have from my background as a scientist. And there was a day somebody said to me while I was selling and said, "You're very, very charismatic. You know how you're trying to get someone to sell. You should consider politics." At that time, I wasn't even British. I was still renewing my Bisi. Like when you're a student and you have to keep renewing. I thought, politics? That's the thing. I didn't see a future where I will be that person who will be in charge of making decisions, for people who did not look like me. So I decided, when I moved to St. Helens, that I would contribute my own voice. There was no other black person. And there were some things that I didn't like that was happening in the children's services with how things were being run, social services, social care. That my background as a parent of a child with special needs, I was able to see that there were some things I needed to change. It's how long children have to wait for a diagnosis and a couple of things. And I said, okay, I think I can do something. I think I can help. It didn't really mean at the time that I completely had everything figured out. I just wanted to help. And this is why it's important for me to highlight that I've also done a lot of volunteering work. I started a coffee morning for parents of children with special needs. Completely without any funding. I would take tea and coffee and biscuits from my house, without any agenda plan. So I started my community activism from the very bottom. I didn't have any agenda in mind that I wanted to be a politician. I wanted to serve in the community. So I wanted to just meet people. And my husband would say that this is a chance for you to make friends. So that was really how I got into politics. People assume that you have to be from a certain class or race. No, that doesn't happen in the UK. Anybody can be a politician. The current deputy leader of the Labour Party, used to be a single mom. She used to be a carer. And while she's a white person, we have far more educated black people in the UK who are not contributing their skills because they don't have a sense of belonging. And there is this feeling that, maybe we're not seeing this place as home. And we still have the sense of, I want to go back. But the moment we start to realize that this place is our home and we should contribute, the UK is home for you. If you've been here for a considerable period of time, you've had children here. In a way, the people that are making decisions on that table, they're making decisions that affect your children, decisions that affect the future of your children, in particular, your future. And you're not contributing at all because you don't feel you belong or you don't feel like you're qualified. Have you ever been into meetings where, as a Nigerian, you're saying, I'm a lot more educated than this folks. I'm a lot more qualified. But maybe my skin color is the only barrier. But why can't I do something? If you know what I mean. Nigerians worldwide are one of the most educated people. But in politics, especially in the UK, I can say that we are many. Till date, I'm still the only councillor of African descent in this town, and which obviously I'm trying to fix. I'm hoping I will fix. I'm hoping to start an initiative where I can encourage people from ethnic minority background, not just African, Asian, to see that there is a possibility for them in politics, not just politics as well, to be school governors, to be able to be active participants in the community, to see that they can make a change. that you're still subject to immigration control and you don't have a British passport does not mean that you cannot be in politics. You can. You can start serving in your community.
I hope that will change. Okay, this is why we're making this video. And I remember a video I made about why immigrants are broke in the UK. I'm going to leave that video in the description box. These are some of the things I talked about in that video. We need to start doing better as immigrants, as the black community in the UK. We all need to sit up and do better. So I had to bring her here so that you will know that these things are actually possible. So don't limit yourself no matter your circumstance. You can do anything and you can be anything you want to be. All right, Bisi, do you have any final words for us before we go?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you, Tochi. It's been amazing chatting with you so far. So my final words, I would like to tell you about my book very briefly because I believe that these books will change lives. And like I said, I wrote this book. It's not because I'm thinking about the profit or whatever, because I wanted to document my story. Because at the beginning of my journey in the UK, I didn't see any other black person that I was able to. There was no other black person that I was able to sort of look up to. There was no other black person who had a child with special needs, that was into politics, that was working. What people were saying to me then was just stay at home and maybe at some point, if you're eligible, just get benefit. I wanted a different path for myself. And so I want people to see that it is possible because the UK is a land of opportunities only if you can see it. And it's not enough for us to say that we want to one day just return to Nigeria. We have to start seeing that this is our land, especially if your children are growing up here. And let's see ourselves as leaders as well. And so it's important for me to highlight that immigrants are eligible to be in business, in leadership positions. We must not shortchange ourselves simply because we think that we're not as good as our white counterparts. We have everything we need. Don't let your accent hold you back. I shared something in my book about how we face challenges, my husband and I, about accent. Even during my election campaign, people made references to my accent. So you mustn't let these things hold you back. So I'm really looking forward to a future where we can have a lot more immigrants. Because yes, we have some black people who are MPs, but some of them are born here. But we need people to start speaking up about immigration policies. We need immigrants who have walked the path. Because my perspective is completely different because I have walked the path that many of my colleagues who are white haven't worked. And some of the black people who are born here, they won't see things through the point of view of you who is an immigrant. So it's important for you to contribute your voice. You need a seat at the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you. How do we get the book? Sorry.
My book is on Amazon right now. In fact, my 3 books are on Amazon. And you can also, if you want a signed copy, you can get a signed copy on my website. So a signed copy means you just let me know if you want to gift it to a friend. I can write anything you want in there. But if you want to order from Amazon, you can order from, because Amazon means that you can order the Kindle copy as well. But if you'd rather buy a signed copy, I have a few copies at home or in my office as well that I can post to you where I can autograph it. But the ones you buy from Amazon are not from me directly. Amazon will send it to you on my behalf, if that's understandable. Thank you.
So we're going to leave the link to that website in the description of this video. So thank you so much, Bisi, for coming, and thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Tochi.